Hello and welcome back to Our Life Beginnings and Always. Hope you're all doing good today and having a good time. Taking care of yourselves and all the good things that you do in your life. We've come a long way. I'm getting ready to wrap up step 1 of this. We're moving forward. It's going to be Father's Day this weekend, so dating this video. But we're ready for our last moment, which is sleepover.
Okay.
Wow, just right into Mom. Alright kids, we're done with dinner. Come to the table. Your stomach grumbled right on time as if it had heard your mom's words. You halted your game and looked over. Your game? Mom was almost done setting the table. She was walking around the mahogany wood in the process of putting down cutlery. Oh, a mahogany table. Mahogany. It's a mahogany table. Sorry. Yeah, man. I used to set the table when I was a kid. That was my job. I really enjoyed that. I took that seriously. I like these blinds too. These are, why don't these, no, because these are patio doors. That's right. We determined that. Yeah, these are blinds you pull down. That's just cool. Mommy was still in the kitchen, humming under their breath as she turned off the stove and put empty pots in the sink to wash. From beside you, Lizzie stirred, and crossing her legs and standing up, she stretched her arms above her head. Finally, I'm ready to eat. So I wonder what game they were playing. Maybe they'll talk about this. Then she cast a sly glance in your direction. You recognize that look. Last one of the table is a rotten egg. I haven't... But it was too late. Lizzie already bolted toward the kitchen. You tried to catch up to her. She was all but daring you to give chase. You planted a hand against the ground to jump to your feet. For a moment you stumbled, but you readied yourself easily enough, then rushed after her. Do you think Marina Foster is not going to try to catch... not gonna lose a race, okay? Though there really wasn't time to close the gap. And it was a short distance to the kitchen table. Lizzie managed to get there easily enough, slapping a hand over the wood, because Lizzie is taller than us and therefore faster, right? Bigger strides. Mom moved just before Lizzie could bump into her. With an exasperated sigh, she resumed her work. I win again. You didn't win because you were racing by yourself. Because you cheated. Okay, you won. You didn't bother to talk to her about that. Okay, you won. We're a good sport. We wouldn't be sore or loser about it. I knew it. That means you're the rotten egg. Lizzie grinned, her hands on her hips, then looked over your shoulder. Cove, you think so too, right? You blinked. You hadn't noticed what he had been doing during this little event, which wasn't much. You spotted Cove still on the floor. If you didn't think Cove was here, you're crazy. Cove is always at our house now. His legs were crossed beneath him, an arm with a cast resting in his lap. He looked at the two of you with a slight frown. It felt sort of strange to see him still here so late. Tonight, Cove had come to your house for a sleepover. Your mom's and his dad had planned it a few days ago. You weren't surprised. You were the one who'd asked your moms about it. You were excited when your moms told you their idea. This was so much to do. It made you quite nervous. No. Marina would want her little friend to sleep over. Summer's almost over, man. We got to spend some time with our good buddy, our good pal, our best new buddy, Cove. They had told you they would ask Mr. Holden. You looked forward to it since the moment you found out he agreed. And you even helped Mom search the storage room for a sleeping bag and extra bedding to prepare for his visit. Cove pursed his lips at Lizzie's question, but he didn't respond. Maybe he was planning on ignoring her now that Lizzie would make it easy. This wasn't the first time she'd asked him to be a referee for one of her sudden races.
Come on!
Well, did I win or what?
No.
I don't like when they say different things, the voice line is different than what the actual line is. But then it's funny, it always catches me off guard when it is the same, so I don't know. What? I don't think you won. How come? It's not my fault Marina's slow. Oh, just you wait, Elizabeth. Just you wait. Cheating's cheating. Cheaters never win.
You always pick her side!
See, like that. Like that? I wasn't expecting that whole thing. Cole snuck a shy peek at you before answering her. I pick her and she picks me. I've picked my sister plenty of times, thank you, sir. You're a couple of rotten eggs, then. That's enough. Nobody here is a loser or a rotten egg. You're each farm fresh. Which is a sentence I never thought I'd say. Things that kids make you say. Thanks, Mom.
Alright.
Now listen to Mom. Come sit at the table for dinner. All three of you. You and Lizzie obeyed, sitting across from each other at the edge of the table. Lizzie blew a raspberry at you while Mom turned her back. Two can play that game. You stuck your tongue out right back. When Mommy pointedly cleared her throat, though, the two of you stopped. Your parents brought the last of the food, and they took seats further down the table instead of sitting right next to you and Lizzie. Yeah, 'cause me and Lizzie are having a moment, right? This girl a little vex. This little gal a little vex. Only Cove was left out. He had stood up from his spot on the floor, but he hadn't made a move toward the kitchen. Cove, you can sit too. Slowly he eyed the 4 seats that were left. Thanks to the new seating arrangement your parents chose, one free chair was beside you, another next to Lizzie, and the last 2 were on the other side where your moms were sitting. Sit next to me. You can sit anywhere you want to. He stayed quiet. How about you can sit anywhere you want to? 'Cause she wouldn't want to pressure Cove to sit next to her. Cove's gaze met your blue eyes. Briefly, he grinned back. He walked over and pulled a chair next to yours and sat down. You were glad he wanted to sit with you. He just needed to know it was okay. Now that everyone was situated, Mommy began to pass out plates. Oh, I didn't take a screen cap of the empty house. I could have done that.
Okay.
Begin, kids. I cooked a little bit of everything for dinner tonight. I don't know the go back button, otherwise I would do that. Be sure not to avoid all the veggies.
Ugh.
Yes, Mom. Each person at the table served themselves, except for one. Cove hesitated again. He fidgeted with his hands clamped on top of his knees. He didn't seem very comfortable doing stuff in someone else's house. So, let me tell you a little story, even if I'm late to VC. This was me. I did not have pals when I was a kid, really. I didn't do stuff like this. I had one friend when I was really in grade school that I did go to his house a couple times for a sleepover. It was lame. I didn't really have fun because we couldn't play with any of his toys because they were all special and had to be like, couldn't haul stuff out. Because when you're a kid, you don't understand that like board games are complicated. You can't do all these things I wanted to play with that I couldn't. We did run around the woods. We did stuff like that. I did have a friend. We hung out. We did all these things. And as a kid, I grew apart with when I got older. But I did go to his house, and we did sleepovers. And even as an older person, as I got older, I had a few friends, like in high school and stuff, that I went to their house. I didn't really have much, but I was like this. I was not comfortable doing stuff in other people's houses. I had to ask. I had to always have permission to do things. That's why I couldn't play with anybody's toys and stuff. But I remember that clearly now that I think about it. This kid rode my school bus, and I went home to his house with him on the bus. That was cool. Like getting off at someone else's house off the school bus. Man, I lived a semi-charmed life. Okay, I had a pretty idyllic childhood. I didn't live in a neighborhood and have like neighbor kids to play with and stuff, but I had a safe and happy childhood. I had friends. I was friends with people at school, but I was never super close. I wasn't even super close with this kid, but he was a kid that I knew from the bus, and he was in my class, and we lived fairly close by. Not that close, like within probably like a 20-minute drive or something, but because everybody live out in the woods out there, right? 15, 20-minute drive, something like that. It seemed like forever anyway. But let's get on with the story. I told you a little story. One dish you seem to have his eye at least. That's pineapple chicken. Want to try some? Yes, please. I love pineapple chicken. Thank you, Hawaiian Mom. Not really sorry. By then, your moms had noted that Cove still had nothing on his plate as well. Do you not like any of the food, honey?
Well...
Maybe he hasn't tried Hawaiian food before. I've never had Hawaiian food in general, but pineapple chicken or also called Polynesian chicken that I've heard before is one of my absolute favorite things that if I knew how to make it for myself, I would. But I have no clue how to make that other than put chicken and pineapple together. I've tried. It didn't turn out the way I thought it was supposed to. He hasn't? Wow. Please don't talk with your mouth full, Lizzie. So, like... I mean... Like... I didn't have this stuff till I was in college, man. I had no clue I was missing. I'd love to go to Hawaii and have Hawaiian food. I think it's so cool that this family, since one of the moms is obviously Hawaiian, or of that relative part of the world, has that kind of culture to them. And that's just an accepted thing. Lizzie swallowed the bite she was eating and spoke again. You should try it now. She turned to Cove dramatically. Unless you want to shrink. That's what happens if you miss a meal. Elizabeth, that's not true. You know that. Cove squirmed under all the attention. He fidgeted with a fork between his fingers. I had some things, just not any of this.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, shoot, I knew I should have asked your dad what your favorite foods were. Oh, now she a little bit vexed. It's alright, Lonnie. Maybe he'll find a new favorite today. You weren't so sure about that. Cove didn't look like he was going to be trying any of the food anytime soon. You let your moms handle this? I think you would like pineapple chicken. It's yummy. Give me your plate. You should try something new. Marina. Which one of these? Here's a moment. Lock in your answers. Which one of these will Marina Foster pick? Yeah. What did you think? Cove was a little confused by your request, but he handed it to you anyway. Goblin energy. Boy, I hope my volume... I didn't even check my volume before. You know, it's fine. It looks like it's fine. I'll check that after. If I have to re-record this, I will. You took the plate from him and piled on only the best foods on it. He watched you work intently, his good hand shoved underneath his leg. We're making this man's try our food. This is what we do. When you were satisfied with the amount on his plate, now she a little vexed. You returned it. So, I gotta explain why I keep doing this. My pal took one of the pictures of the characters in this game, a screenshot, and used an AI to describe it in Jamaican patois. And it's just funny to me. Some of the things, like I never knew that was what that was called. First of all, that Jamaican kind of slang language. But yeah, it's funny the way it describes this game. It's really accurate, but it's funny. And you satisfied with the amount on this plate, you returned it. You should like some of these.
Thanks.
I like the way he says that.
Good job.
That was very kind of you, Marina. He puffed your chest out at the praise. Was it kind? I just kind of took his plate and said, here, you're eating this. Was that kind? It was kind of pushy, is what it was. At first, Cole poked at the food. Clearly, he was apprehensive to eat something new, but he took a few exploratory bites.
Right?
It's good, huh? Isn't it? So we're making this man, we're expanding this man's palate today. You don't have to keep asking. He still speared more meat with his fork and ate it, chewing thoughtfully. It's not bad. Mommy grinned at his words, satisfied even though it wasn't exactly a glowing commendation. Lizzie wasn't as mollified. You're so weird. Don't be mean to your friend. We're not friends. If I have to use one of these as like a... Yeah, I think this is gonna be I think there's gonna be better things to do, but yeah.
Oh.
Mommy floundered in the face of Cole's blunt honesty. You weren't surprised by Cole's declaration. The more you get to know him, the more you realize he wasn't the type of kid to keep his opinions to himself. Yep. There you go with that little autism bean thing. He's just like it. He's just like that. Doesn't keep his opinions to himself. Especially, he didn't like Lizzie. In the end, you were supposed that the two of them didn't want to be friends. You couldn't force them to be. Yeah, we've seen that. They had a big fight. You hoped Cole thought you was a friend. The two of you were friends, right? You wonder how he felt about you. That's something you nervous about your own relationship with him. At least you two were definitely friends. No, we're definitely friends. She would know that. Cove is our friend. You know that without a doubt. The way you felt about Lizzie didn't change it. When you gave Cove a look, he returned a small smile, confirming your thoughts. Your mommy looked at Mom and only got a shrug.
No.
Elizabeth, don't call someone weird. There's no such thing as a weird person and a non-weird person. There's just different perspectives. That's something we all need to learn in today's society. Don't you agree? It's not a nice thing to say someone, anyone. Say to someone, anyone, but Pam. First time we're getting Pam's name. Pamela Nalani. Mommy tried to whisper exclusively to Mom. So this is a moment where we get a little bit more of the mom's personalities in it too, with their parenting style, which I appreciate. You know, I think we see more of that in step 3, or step 2 especially. Mommy tried to whisper exclusively to Mom. Her attempt to make it audible over the sounds of clanking silverware meant you caught the quiet words anyway. They're not friends. He said so. As parents, we can only try, and sometimes we fail. Not all kids will be thick as thieves. Now less talking and more eating, kids. You need to clean up and start winding down for bed soon.
But...
Mom! No buts. We've talked about this. Your bedtime will be moved back in a few years, but for now, you don't get to stay up late. Lizzie sulked, muttering under her breath about how it wasn't right. You laughed at Mom's phrasing. You groaned about it as well. You stayed quiet and finished your meal. No, we're definitely there with Big Sister Lizzie. We want to support our big sister. If our big sister thinks it's gross that we have to go to bed, then we hate it too. It seemed way too early to go to sleep.
Isn't that great?
The sooner you sleep, the sooner a brand new day will be here. I think that's pretty exciting. You weren't sure you agreed. The rest of dinner passed uneventfully. Cove was silent for most of it, even when you nudged him and tried to get him to talk. All too soon, the tables were cleared, the games in the living room were put away, and you were all steered to your bedrooms. Okay, we'll probably use this as the thing for this one, though. Here's our lovely bedroom with our random cardboard box of whatever under the desk. I don't know what that's supposed to be full of. I love the plushes. I love that she has an elephant. Mom finished tucking you in and kissed your brow just as Mommy poked her head in the room. All ready for lights off, you two? So it's interesting to me. Well, I guess they probably take turns. You were lying comfortably in your bed, the blanket hiked up under your armpits. You could kick it off later if it got too hot. Yeah, in the summer when I was a kid, couldn't sleep with blankets on. That was for darn sure. Now I just crank up the AC and I sleep more comfortably that way anyway. Didn't have AC when I was a kid, so couldn't do that. We had to open the window, but that still didn't help that much on hot nights. Mom had set up the sleeping bag on the floor for Cove just beside your bed. He'd already wriggled inside of it. We are.
Good night.
We are. Perfect. I'll go say goodnight to Lizzie then. Mom tweaked your nose, chuckled when you squawked in annoyance, but left. Mommy took her place, sitting on the edge of your bed. Oh yeah, they're just taking turns.
Sweet dreams.
That's good enough. She pressed a soft kiss to your forehead. You giggled as strands of her hair fell forward and tickled you. Mommy smiled down affectionately at you, then moved her attention to Cove, who watched from a spot on the floor. Do you need anything before falling asleep, honey? This is your dad, too. Sometimes he picks me up and lifts me really high, and he shakes his hands like he's gonna let go. But he catches me again. He keeps doing that until sometimes he does drop me on my bed, or other times he lowers me down and we pretend like I'm crashing. Oh, look at you, Cove. You have such a good little life. That's so cute. Cove had become pretty excited when talking about how the nightly ritual he and his dad shared. He seemed to realize how animated he was and bashfully quieted. But I don't want to do that here.
Aww.
Fun. Though I think you're right that it might not be a good idea to do that tonight. The sleeping bag might not be a soft enough landing. If there's anything else, you can always ask me or Marina's other mom. But I'm the nicer one. Just don't tell her that. Oh, no, Lonnie. Aren't you the nicer one? She laughed good-naturedly and stood up.
Take care.
Sleep well, Cal. Night. Leaning against the door jamb, she rested a hand on the light switch and looked to you. Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. With a last smile, Mommy turned off the lights and stepped out, closing the bedroom door behind her. You listened to her footsteps fade as she walked down the hallway. But even as the sound vanished, your eyes stayed open. It was so exciting to have Cove spending the night. I wish there was a sleeping bag thing here to show this moment. That would be kind of a neat thing if they'd added that, but they would have had to do a whole thing, so. Hey, Cove. Actually, I'm gonna do this one, in the nighttime one. I love the dust motes that float around. Hey, Cove, you're my friend. Oh, thanks. You're my friend, too. You started when Cove sighed deeply. You turned your head to look in his direction. In the dark, you could only see a faint outline of a lump under the covers. Cove? What's wrong? What was that? Could you be less loud? Could you be quieter, please? Stop that. No, what's wrong? I can't sleep. Why not? He shifted, or at least you thought he did. You couldn't see anything since your eyes were still adjusting to the dark, but you heard a sleeping bag rustle. I want to be in my bed. Oh. Cove sat up. Your eyes had gotten used to the low light level, so you could see him better. He got out of the sleeping bag, wobbled towards your side, and pulled out the top drawer. What is it? I'm getting my glasses. He sat up too, watching as he reached inside. He paused for a second, then pulled his hand out. Instead of his glasses, though, he was holding a book. So, like, yeah, I didn't wear glasses until I was in high school, I want to say. Maybe college? It was probably even college, actually. But I can't imagine wearing glasses as a kid. I would have been uncomfortable all the time. I don't wear them all the time, even. I should. But I don't. And it's interesting to me to think that Cove, this poor little guy, has glasses, a cast. He's got to go through a lot as a kid, just as an 8-year-old. Cove turned it over, around in his hand, trying to figure out the proper orientation for it. You knew even without reading the title which one it was. That was the one your moms would read to you. It was special. Be careful, that's mine. I thought you were looking for your glasses. What are you doing with that? These all sound mean. Why would we do that? I thought you were looking for your glasses. I was. Then I felt this. It looks cool. The compliment he afforded your special book had you grinning, your confusion forgotten. It is really cool.
Oh?
What is it about? It's a story about a squire who wants to become a knight, and there's magic? I told you, Marina Foster reads magic she likes to read stories about magic and such and things. Does it have mermaids? No, but I love the main character because the squire is really brave and funny. It has cool pictures, some of them you take over the whole page. Mommy reads it to me. She uses different voices for every character. There's a dragon in it and crazy things happen. The squire tries to kill her because the king wants the dragon dead, so they have this fight. But the squire finds out dragon's really nice, so they don't want to fight her after all. So the two of them become friends instead. Cove looked excited by your words. He flipped the book over and focused at the backside summary. He must be pretty interested in it. When I was a kid, I would read books to my brother, actually, and I would do all the funny voices. Because he was quite a few years younger than me, and I would read these, like, they were like science books, because that's what we had. But they were like little children's science books, and we would read them, and I would do the funny voices and stuff. Probably read other stuff too, but I love reading to people. It's one of my great passions. I really like, that's why I like doing games like this. I might look for more games like this. I like reading these kinds of things, and I like doing Let's Reads too, but it's hard to sit down for a long period of time and read a book, like a serious book, but I'd like to do more of that on this channel. I honestly would like to read more books. I like to read to people, and I hope I'm okay to listen to, because I know I read kind of fast, especially when I'm excited about stuff, so it might not be that coherent, but I can always slow down and enunciate better if you need me to, so just let me know in the comments. But I hope you're enjoying this. Hope you're enjoying the reading and everything. You were reminded of the hours you'd spent hearing the tales. No matter how many times you read it or had read to you, you were still entertained by the story and the pictures inside. You glanced out the window. The moon was high in the sky. It was definitely a time when you were supposed to be asleep. You couldn't sleep staying up. You wanted to read the book with Cove. You climbed out of bed and padded over to your side table. You opened it and rummaged around, pushing aside stuffed toys and crayons. Cove called out to you in a confused whisper. What are you doing? You didn't respond, letting the suspense build instead. You let out a very quiet cry of victory when you found what you were looking for. You jumped back on the bed before any hidden bogeyman could catch you unaware. Yeah? I had that fear when I was a kid too. Cole continued to watch as you wiggled your way beneath the blanket you discarded earlier. You pulled it up over your head. Oh my gosh! This is cool. What's... Shh! Get under here already! Bring the book too. Oh wow! After a minute, the bed dipped as Cove got on it, then the blanket shifted. It's like Secret Cove under the blankets time. We're reading the book. You fiddled with the flashlight in your grip, felt feeling for the switch. With a click, the small space flooded with a bright light. Cove sputtered, putting a hand up to shield himself from the beam. Move it somewhere else. Oops. He tilted the flashlight so it shone directly on his face, giggling. Hey. I was never into that kind of thing of hiding of shining flashlights in people's faces. I went out of my way to avoid that. Marina, on the other hand, you shifted again, making it shine down. You adopted an innocent expression when Cove scolded at you. Now he a little bit vexed. I like the hair, his one strand of hair hanging on his face, though. Now we can read, and my mom's won't know. He made a little blanket for it. I love that kind of stuff. I do this all the time. I've never tried something like this before. I do this all the time. We've already established that Marina Foster likes to read, and that she also likes to stay up late and go outside. I always pretend to sleep when Mom or Mommy check on me, and I've never been caught. It's fun. Do you want to try? Cove nodded. Pleased by his straightforward response, he placed the book between you and flipped it open to the first page. So, we're teaching Cove how to be a bad kid. Meanwhile, he laid down on his belly and shuffled closer, picking up the flashlight to shine on the pages. His face was illuminated with a warm glow. Okay, now I like this the most, because look at the happy Cove. This is so cool they did this cutaway. This is just really pretty, okay? The color, the way they did the light here is amazing. He mirrored his position, leaning in so you could see the book better. Your forehead's nearly brushed until you shuffled back a comfortable distance. So, let me say something else about this game that I find absolutely amazing and incredible. That all of these backgrounds where there's a character, the characters blink! And they blink at random intervals. And I keep trying to think to myself, how does that work? Like, sometimes they blink, like, several times really fast, and sometimes it's very slow. Yeah, like, it's just, how does that work? How many frames of this picture do you have to have? Is it just one with his eyes open and one with his eyes closed? There's got to be, like, at least a partway one, too, or several of them to give the illusion of it closing, right? It's so cool. You wanted the story to be narrated? You thought it was best to take turns reading the book silently? You flipped through the pages to show Cove cool pictures. No. We're narrating this bitch. You loved it when Mommy read to you. Why not read as loud as you dared this time of night? You didn't even need to study the page for long. There was once a squire who dreamed of knighthood. All they wanted was to do good. Cove was taken aback when you began to recite the words by heart. You even pronounced knighthood properly, a word which had given you grief in the past. His reaction encouraged you to keep going. Soon you got to an exciting part, the squire and the dragon's first meeting. The squire walked up to the fearsome dragon, their borrowed sword in one hand and a torch in the other. Her red scales danced in the light like flickering flames. I like that the squire is a they-them. Remember that. Could you say the dragon's lines? Do you need to get your glasses? No, my head hurts if I don't wear my glasses for a while. I can kind of see things alright, but I don't know any voices. That's okay, it's fun anyway. Let me just... Cove read the page, his mouth moving silently with the words. Eventually he nodded to himself and spoke them out loud. Who goes there? Roared the dragon. Who dares enter my cave? It was your turn. You went to the squire's famous speech. The next time you looked up from the page, your gaze landed right on Cove. His eyes were following the text, a soft smile lighting up his features. A lock of his hair fell into his field of vision, but he gave it no notice. He was lost in the story. You started when Cove caught you watching him. He raised a questioning eyebrow. What? Nothing. Cove shot you a strange look, but he went back to the book. You did too, even as your eyelids started to droop. When your eyes opened again, your bedroom was pitch black and silent. Your head was smushed in your pillow, your pajamas were sticking to you, and your mouth was dry. Slowly, you raised yourself onto your elbows, but you yawned, the back of your throat twinging as you did so. Twinging, I guess? You rolled onto your side to sit up in bed, planning on getting water from the kitchen, when you saw a dark shape towering above you. You froze, then you remembered you weren't alone in your room tonight. Cove, that you?
Yeah.
You shifted and felt something cylindrical press against your thigh. You fumbled for it, the familiar weight of the flashlight pressing your palm. You turned it on. Cove blinked at you, looking exhausted. He was in his normal clothes again, shoes and everything. His pajama pants were left on the floor abandoned. Sleeping Big was in a similar state. Cove just got naked in our room and changed. Just let that sink in a minute. is it? Can't sleep. Keep waking up. So I never had trouble sleeping at someone else's house as a kid. But I really enjoyed the adventure of sleeping strange places. I really liked going to our hunting camp with my grandpa when I was a little kid. And sleeping there, because it was like, you sleep in a sleeping bag on like a bunk bed in like this spooky back room and stuff. And it was just kind of rustic and out in the middle of the woods. And I loved it. I loved the idea of sleeping weird places, like on the floor or like on top of a couch. Yeah, like on the back, along the back of a sofa. I love that kind of stuff. Like places where you could potentially like roll off of in the night. Except I wasn't a kid that like rolled around or thrashed at all, so I never did that stuff. But it would be, wouldn't that be exciting? If you woke up on like the floor, if you woke up somewhere that you didn't fall asleep at, isn't that such a cool thought? I know that's some people's like worst fear, but when I was a kid, that was such a cool idea. I don't know. Did you have a bad dream? He shook his head from side to side. No, just can't sleep. It's weird here. He frowned. You helped your mom's redecorate it only a few months back. I like my room. It's not that it's bad. I just always sleep in my bed, in my room. That made things a little clearer. It wasn't anything you'd done. Cove couldn't sleep in a new place. You wondered how long it took for Cove's bedroom in his new house to not be weird to him. Probably a while. I'm gonna go. What? That shook off the last of your doziness. He was gonna walk outside back to his own house, this time of night, this part of the country, all by himself. He noted your shocked expression and looked at you with resolve. My dad let me in. I've gone outside late before, and I have to go. I love this. This is my all-time favorite face in the entire game. I have to say that. If I haven't talked about this before, he's so mad. His little indignant face, his little eyebrows are arched, and his mouth. It makes me laugh so much. He looks so mad. I love Little Mad Cove. I almost want to make this the background just so my friend can, like, put this through the Jamaican, translate. You could probably still do it anyway, really. Well, if you have to. You don't have to. I'll come with you. I should tell my moms. Oh, come on, Marino. Since when have you ever told your moms you were doing anything?
Why?
I can get there myself. And then you'd have to go all the way back here from my house. I want us to stay together more. I think I should come anyway. I've got to make sure nothing happens to you. Yeah. I want to make sure nothing happens to you. Cove looked at you quietly as if contemplating something before nodding his head.
Okay.
With that, Cove casually crouched down and collected his pajama pants. You were relieved he didn't mind you coming. Are you getting the rest of your stuff too, like your toothbrush? I don't know where my mom's put it all. No, just this. You could understand that. He didn't really need anything right now, and you could always pick up his things tomorrow. Cove visited your house during the day all the time. As I said, Cove is always here. Yeah, by the way, this is a little bit longer moment. I meant to say that at the end of the last one, but from now on, get ready for like hour-long videos for like all of these. I might break up some of the really long ones into like multiple videos, but yeah, it only gets longer from here, folks. You grabbed the flashlight and waited by the door. Soon, Cove joined you. The two of you crept out in the hallway as silently as you could. This will probably be like the shortest one for a while, honestly. And they're only going to get longer from here, so good luck. You sidestepped the loose floorboard at the end of the hall, alerting Cove to it as well. Apart from that, you had no problems making it to the front door. Everybody was in their rooms, so the rest of the house was abandoned. Wow, it's really dark in this room. It's really weird seeing this room really dark. It was brighter outside. Here some of your other neighbors had lights coming through their windows. Still, you felt better with your flashlight turned on. You pointed it in the direction you were walking. Not the first time we've been outside at night with Cove. So is this the mom's room then? At the front of the house? I bet you this is Pam and Nolani's room here. Looks like something hanging up there, like a dress or something, or a bag. I don't remember there being this exact same shadows. I bet this is their room, though. Huh. An interesting thought there. Oh no, this is still the living room. This will still be the living room. What am I thinking? Their bedrooms are all up here on the upper floor. Everybody's probably up there. I would assume. Or, anyway, whatever. This house is still gonna make me a little bit vexed, okay? There was no sound apart from the chirping of crickets and the crunch of some loose sand that got all the way up the street from the beach. After a while, it was almost soothing. You thought back to your unlocked front door and hoped that one of your moms didn't wake up. If they locked it or checked on you or both, you'd be in a lot of trouble. Surprisingly, it was Cove who broke the deep silence. I mean, we did this before. It's not the first time we've snuck out at night, right? This is my first sleepover. Really? I've had sleepovers before. Sometimes I go to Grandma and Grandpa's house. Shiloh slept over a few times too, and other stuff. Grandma and Grandpa's house. That's the first time we're mentioning that we have a Grandma and Grandpa that we spend time with. This is the first time I've ever heard of this. In this game. Like, in my friend's playthrough, I don't think they ever mentioned the Grandma and the Grandpa. Huh. At least one of the moms still has their parents, which doesn't surprise me because they're pretty young, but you know. Cove remained quiet. The silence stretched between you, but it didn't feel awkward right now. He didn't really feel the need to break it immediately. I wonder if Nolani's parents live in Hawaii. And if you ever go on trips to Hawaii. Wouldn't that be cool? I mean, we live in California, so it's not that far of a flight. I've never done it, personally. I'd like to someday. I'd love to. I'd love to go. I have a personal goal to see all 50 states. I don't know if I'll get to Alaska and Hawaii. They're the hard ones, right? They're not within driving distance. But you never know. Didn't feel the need to break it immediately. How was it? Or is it? It's not bad. That was really weird, Cove. You sounded a little too happy about that. I liked reading your book. You did? I kind of thought you weren't having fun. You didn't really say anything when we were reading. I didn't know what to say. Oh. Now you were the one who didn't know what to say, so you said nothing. You just looked the path ahead. The two of you kept walking side by side, your shadows stretching across the concrete. In almost no time at all, you arrived at Cove's house. Cove's house loomed above you. The window's dark. Mr. Holden must be sleeping like everyone else in your own family. Yeah, this isn't Cove's house though. I think this is still our house. I don't know. Maybe this is Cove's house. I've still never figured this out. We'll find out when we get to go to Cove's house in step 2, because we do, and it won't be long now. Are you sure your dad's gonna open the door? Yeah, he wakes up real easy. As if to demonstrate, he rang the doorbell. A couple minutes passed, and you wondered if Cove was wrong. Then the front door unlocked and cracked open. Out came his dad. So, that's not what he knows how to wake his dad up with the doorbell. Holy crap! Was not ready for shirtless Cliff Holden. Was not ready for this man's shirtless. I mean, of course he's gonna sleep like that, but Mr. Holden wasn't wearing all his clothes. His hair was up in a ponytail. Well, oh yeah, his hair's down too. Like Dorval either. You felt a little bad to disturb him, but he definitely had not been expecting anybody. I think I might have to make... I'm probably gonna do the other one because it's cute, but this is... Oh my god. He a little bit vexed. His eyes had been narrowed into tired slits, yet they opened when he saw you in Cove. Kids? What in the world are you doing? Everything okay? Just, let me have this. Just let me have this. God bless this man's. I couldn't sleep. Cove said my room is weird. Mr. Holden blinked, his features still twisted in panic. Then he closed his eyes and let out a deep breath. Right, well, that is a shame. What's done is done. Come on inside, son. We can talk about what happened in the morning. Okay. Cove yawned while accepting the terms without complaint. This man is so laid back and chill, though. Was not ready for shirtless Cliff Holden. Thank you for dropping him off, Marina. I think you'll have to be part of the conversation tomorrow, but we'll deal with that, what to do next time. Next time. Now let me walk you back. It's not safe for you to be out this late by yourself. He moved to step past you, but you shook your head. I'll be fine, Mr. Holden. My house is right here, and I have a flashlight. Mr. Holden remained where he was, his brow furrowed, and he placed a hand on Cove's shoulder blade. Now he's mad. Is he actually gonna be a parent for once, Cliff? Then I'll stand right here. Cove and I'll be your lookouts. We'll close the door once you made it back inside. Our door once you made it back inside. Now he looks like a guy off the cover of a romance novel. You nodded your head at the compromise. Have a good night. Take care. He's had like 6 expressions just in this one scene. The man of a million faces here. Mr. Holden waved you off. As you turned, your eyes met Cove, still standing beside his dad. His lips turned up at the corners. He spoke in an almost whisper.
Bye.
My Marina, thanks for coming. Flashlight clutched in your hand. You jogged back over to your home. You did feel better knowing Cove and his dad were watching to make sure nothing happened. Once you got to your front door, you glanced over to see the two waiting. You waved. Faintly, you saw Cove wave back. You quietly closed the door behind you, smiling to yourself. Then you tiptoed to your bedroom. The flashlight was returned to your drawer in its rightful place. Although Cove had to go back home in the end, you still considered the sleepover to be quite a success. You did hope that next time he'd be able to stay the whole night, whenever next time came along. The next morning, you were woken by the sound of Mom's voice and a soft shake on your shoulder. Yeah, you thought it was over, but it's not over. It's never over. Marina, wake up. It's time to get up and at 'em. The sun was peeking through your curtains, and you rubbed at your eyes as they adjusted to the new light. Cove's already out of bed. You blinked at her for a moment, confused, until you caught the empty sleeping bag on the ground and remembered what had happened during the night. But I didn't see him out there. I wonder where he's gotten off to. Where he's gotten off to so early. You hesitated, giving Mom a look with your mouth hanging half open as your mind processed what to tell her.
Everything okay?
Marina? Cove couldn't sleep. He said my room was weird.
What?
What? Where's Cove now? Did he sleep on the couch? Mom was still looking at you expectantly. But as you started to explain what had happened, you were interrupted by Mommy calling downstairs saying Mr. Holden was at the door. You could tell by the way that Mom's forehead crinkled that she was even more concerned. When she turned to head downstairs, you pulled the cupboard back the covers and jumped out of bed to follow her. Cliff, how are you? So, we're gonna get another talking to in this one. This is gonna happen. Are you ready for get in more trouble? So let's imagine Marina Foster wears a t-shirt and shorts to bed. Let's just imagine that. I want to say that. Instead of like kids' pajamas and stuff. Mom joined Mommy at the door, or she's got like superhero pajamas or something like that, because, yeah. Mom joined Mommy at the door where you hovered at the bottom of the stairs and peeked around the corner. You saw Cove's dad standing just outside, a sheep with a smile on his face. He was alone, and you wondered if Cove was alright. Oh, who am I kidding? She'd have like animals on her PJs. She's like an animal lover. She'd have like ocean animals, like dolphins and sharks and shit. I don't want to alarm you both, but Cove showed up back at home in the middle of the night, and he wasn't alone. Da-da-da-da-da. He rubbed the back of his neck anxiously. He must have felt bad about sharing the news. Mr. Holden kind of reminded you of Cove in that moment. Yeah, way to throw us on the bus, under the bus, Cliff. Your mom's exchanged a matching pair of surprised looks, Mommy gasping and covering her mouth with a hand. Why didn't they open her mouth then if she's supposed to be gasping? The two of them looked your way and you quickly ducked behind the wall. The boy and I made sure Marina got back safe, but Cove wouldn't tell me what happened. I thought you might have a little more insight. We didn't hear a thing during the night. I noticed Cove was gone just minutes before you arrived. Is he alright? We're so sorry. We'll be having a talk with Marina about this for sure. Yep. I'll be having a talk. Mr. Holden pulled his lips into a tight smile and held up hands as if to say it wasn't their fault. He's fine. I just wanted to find out more before having another talk with him. I should have known he wasn't ready to spend the night at someone else's house. He felt bad for Mr. Holden. He looked so sad. I feel bad too, because this is my idea. Man, I wanted that little bean to come to my house and be our friend and hang out. They discussed the event for a little bit longer, your parents promising to call him if they found out more. When Mr. Holden finally said goodbye, you heard Mom calling your name. Immediately you panicked, wondering if you should find somewhere to hide. There was a growing sense of dread in your stomach that you were about to get into a lot of trouble. I would always hide in my parents' sauna. Under the bench. Because it was like the most isolated room. You had to go through multiple doors to get there so you knew people were coming. It was just a place to hide, right? Your moms found you eventually, even though you were relieved to see they didn't look angry. This is a weird... No, I'll talk... I don't know. They did, however, look very, very worried.
That's ridiculous.
Wow, that was cool. What were you thinking, Marina? Why didn't you tell us something was wrong? Why did you leave the house? You toed the ground in front of you, refusing to look at them. I mean, this is not the first time this summer we did this. And got caught. I'm sure you were just trying to help him. You know it's dangerous to go outside at night without a parent, don't you? No, apparently not. Nodding your head, you couldn't do much more than listen as your parents explained how dangerous it had been for you and Cove to wander to his house on your own. Oh, that's nothing. We went to the beach. Personally, you didn't think it was that bad since Cove only lived across the road, but you didn't tell your moms that. You were already in enough trouble as it was, so when they asked you to promise to tell them something like that next time, you nodded your head in agreement. Even though it was a little unfair, you accepted the punishment that you weren't allowed to have any sleepovers until you could prove your moms that you were responsible enough. Oh, good old. This is the music that makes me think the moment's almost over. You determined to show them that you could be trusted. When you saw Cove next, he was sorry you'd gotten into trouble. After hearing a similar lecture, Cove got away with a warning from his dad. Yeah, he always gets away with warnings. Mr. Holden felt negative experience was enough already, and Cove didn't need additional punishments. To be fair, I'm kind of one of those types of parents too. I'd probably do the thing like that, where it's like, oh, the consequences are enough of a punishment. In the end, the two of you and your parents were eventually able to move past the ill-fated sleepover. It had all been a learning experience, according to the adults. You could accept that. There were definitely things you learned from it. And hopefully one day, you and Cove would finally be able to have a successful sleepover. Yes, I learned that don't alert other people's dads to what you're doing because they're a narc. Because he's a narc. And that was what Marina Foster learned. And next time, summer ended.